Welcome in, Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. It is mailbag time. You got questions, I got answers. You are in luck, and we will go over them piece by piece. You may be wondering, how do I get involved in these mailbag shows? Well, if you subscribe to the channel, you'll know when we go live, as we do each and every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. But when the Seahawks make a big move of some sorts, then we go live as well, and we bring you the best Seahawks coverage we can. Subscribe now, turn on notifications so you can be a part of our mailbags. Super chat, hashtag Seahawks. We got you covered for our mailbags that we do on our live shows. First super chat, $5 super chat coming in from Archie. Archie, thanks for sending that in, my guy. And Archie and Robert sent in a $10 super chat. Those guys were wondering about the Jalen Carter situation. And so that's where I kind of want to begin. I know that it's not on screen, but they were asking about where things stand with Jalen Carter right now. And I can tell you, I still love the idea of Jalen Carter at 5 for the Seahawks. He's arguably the best player in this draft. I know there's been conversations about the Seahawks potentially trading up or trading down, or the concerns that there are about Jalen Carter. But if the Seahawks do their homework, if they like what they see, if everything still checks off, the talent is still there. You can't say no to Jalen Carter if he's around for that pick. I think you got to go with Jalen Carter if that opportunity presents itself. So we'll see what goes on with Jalen Carter there. But, folks, you got to subscribe to the channel as we're talking about your Seahawks each and every day. The latest happenings with your favorite team. It's right here on Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. $20 super chat from Jaime coming in. Jaime, chug, chug, chug. Oh, we're always chugging here. Thank you, Jaime. I kind of hope we trade down and find that magic of yesteryear. You know, I give credit to John and Pete for what they've done in the draft over the years, in particular this last draft. And if you're the Seahawks and you look at this draft and some of the potential options that are out there for this Seahawks team, if you're trading down and looking at your other potential options here, what you can do, I think the best thing about trading down is just adding the number of assets, right? Yes, you already have 10 picks in this year's draft, but if you can pocket a pick and save it for next year. Like for example, I like the quarterbacks better at next year's draft than I do this year's draft. And so with that said, for me, I like the idea of potentially trading down and then going and getting that quarterback next year, whether it's a Caleb Williams or a Drake May or something like that. To me, that makes sense if you're Seattle to go that route and save your picks on that front. I see what you mean, Jaime. It'd be hard to say no to Jalen Carter, but if Carter's gone, yeah, definitely trade down as far as I'm concerned. Next one from the ZXKUQYB. That's a lot of letters. I think it's a gamer tag. Beer time. Hey, I'm always down for beer. Cheers, my guy. Carter at 5. I'm telling you, this is the move. Unless the Seahawks find something that they are concerned with, where they say, you know what, this just doesn't work. This isn't going to make sense for the Seahawks. Jalen Carter is the pick at 5. I feel pretty good about that. If we find out more information later, if there's stuff that comes up that tells you otherwise, that's one thing. But right now, Jalen Carter needs to be the pick for Seattle at 5. That Fat Rat writes in, trade for star D lineman from the Panthers, Derrick Brown, to boost up the interior D line. Yeah, I could see that potentially. Derrick Brown is a very fine football player. He'd be a nice asset for the Seahawks team. I wouldn't mind Derrick Brown at all in a Seahawks uniform, and would be a big asset and help this group out and what they're looking for. You know, we talked about a lot last year, the D-line and the struggles in particular in stopping the run. You already bring in Mac Jones, Jarran Reed, of course, into the fold. Derrick Brown, all of a sudden that group would go from a weakness to a strength if you added him. Don't know how much you'd have to give up for him, but it's certainly a possibility. Another $10 super chat coming in from the ZXKUQYB. What if Washington traded up and they offered their 16 and 2 future first-round picks for Seattle's 5th? Do you do it? I think it's from a Commanders mock draft. I think you would, but I don't see. Think about what you're saying here. Okay? You still give up the 16 and then 2 future first-round picks, 3 first-round picks for 1. Yeah, you do it if you get that opportunity. Of course you would take 3 first-round picks for 1. But I don't see the Commanders giving up that much to go up 11 spots. If they do, by all means, take that and take it to the bank. But I don't see that happening. But if it did, yeah, you would take that. Seattle Dan. Hi, Dan. Should Seattle have any interest in trading for Mac Jones? So there was a report that came out this week that Bill Belichick is not happy with Mac Jones. In particular, the fact that Mac Jones was seeking outside help outside the organization to work on his game. And that did not go over well with Belichick and the organization. And so Belichick apparently has shown potential interest in Lamar, some other quarterbacks, that the relationship's a little soured with Mac Jones there. And so, remember, we saw Bailey Zappi play pretty well when Mac Jones was injured there. And so there might not necessarily be some loyalty to Mac Jones in New England. With that said, I like Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones can have a bounce-back year this year with Bill O'Brien coming in as their new offensive coordinator. I think Bill O'Brien's one of the best offensive minds in football. Say what you want about Bill O'Brien as a GM that didn't work out in Houston, but he is a very good offensive coordinator, and he's worked with Mac Jones before. I think that's going to be a nice asset. He had an incompetent offensive staff that he had to coach, he had to sit under last year. I think Mac Jones is going to turn things around and have a nice year. With that said, trading for him? No. Geno Smith, you got a good thing going. You might draft a quarterback this year. If not this year, you will next year. There's no urgency to give up what it would take for Mac Jones. No. I'm not interested in trading for Mac Jones. Should the Seahawks trade for Mac Jones? Y for yes, in for no. Let us know in the comments section. Y for yes, in for no, if the Seahawks should trade for Mac Jones or not. Get some more questions that coming in here. This one from Matthew. Trade the 20th pick for next year for a first rounder. So that's just a pick swap at that point. You're just delaying the process. Matthew, let's be real with you here. I mean, why delay it? I don't understand the logic why you would just trade up 1 for 1 and have to wait another year on developing a talent. Okay? Like, I don't know where that, going 1 for 1 makes any sense. That's just 1 year less, and it's not like it's not the NBA where you can trade for a protected pick where, it's a situation of, hey, we're going to do this, and we get to keep the pick if it's top 4, top 5, something like that. It doesn't work that way. So, to me, that just doesn't really make sense to go 1 for 1 on that front. Coach Treadhead wants to know, could we trade Fant in the draft? We talked about this on the channel earlier this week. Absolutely, the Seahawks could end up trading Noah Fant. They're trying to save some salary of some sorts. The Seahawks team is that they need to find extra money that they can one way or the other with how much they've spent in free agency and still have to pay the draft picks. Noah Fant, I like Noah Fant, but let's be real with y'all. He was disappointing last year. He didn't live up to expectations. He got outplayed by Will Dissly and Colby Parkinson both. And so I think there's a chance you trade him, you get a late-round pick, you roll with Parkinson and you roll with Dissly, and maybe you even draft a tight end potentially. It's a good tight end class this year with Washington and Mayer and Kincaid. Yeah, I could very well see the Seahawks ending up trading Fant to get another pick in the draft. Seahawks for Life writes in, who will the Seahawks use the number 5 pick on? It's a great question, Seahawks for Life. I think right now the entire focus is on Jalen Carter. And if he's not there, then you're looking to potentially trade down or make a move somewhere like that. I think it's Jalen Carter or it's Tyree Wilson. Those are kind of the main draft targets at this point as far as Seattle goes with that number 5 selection. We'll see if they do, but to me, those are the ones that are the top 2 candidates for that number 5 pick where things stand right now. Who is it? Name a player the Seahawks should draft. Who comes to mind that you would like to see in a Seahawks uniform in 2023? Who should they pick up in the draft? And I'll leave this open-ended. I'm not even just talking first-round talents. Whether it's second or third, whatever it may be, later in the draft, who is one player you'd like to see the Seahawks pick up? Let us know in the comments section below. That Fat Rat writes in, trade for Derrick Brown. I believe we talked about this. Derrick Brown, I like the possibility of trading for Derrick Brown. Don't know exactly what it would cost, but that's something that could make sense for Seattle to go that route and really beef up that defensive line. So we'll see that Fat Rat if they do that or not. Next one coming in from Justin. What do you think of this Will Anderson falling to us at 5, and then hopefully Nolan Smith? If not, take McDonald. And in the second round, I feel like we should address our offensive line. All right, let's take that piece by piece. Will Anderson, I don't think Will Anderson is getting past the Cardinals. As long as the Cardinals stay in the top 5, I think he is going to be their guy. But if he's around, I wouldn't. Before the draft, I would have said Will Anderson over Jalen Carter. But now that you have your edge rusher with Draymond Jones taken care of, I would take Jalen Carter over Will Anderson personally. But Will Anderson, if you end up on your team, that could work. Nolan Smith, as far as that second round pick goes, to me, that is one that I'm very intrigued with, of the possibility with Nolan Smith. And we'll see what goes on there. Matthew writes, Drake May? Drake May, I would love the idea. We still got a ways to go before that. We still got another draft to get to. But Drake May and Caleb Williams are both going to be special talents in the NFL. How would you grade the Seahawks offseason so far? A, B, C, D, or F? Let us know in the comments section how you would grade the Seahawks offseason. Tell me what you think in the comments section below, and we'll see you next time here on the channel.